Hello and welcome to the Seer 365 showcase, where we show our partners and how great they are. And today we're going to be talking with the team at Docuphase. I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But over the next half hour or so, we'll just explain who they are, what they do, and how they can help you achieve your goals with your customers. So let's start kicking things off. Shannon, do you want to introduce yourself and Docuphase?
Yes, absolutely, Richard. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to kick off our time to discuss how to help your clients take control of their back office by modernizing their finance operations with AI-powered automation and payments. So as Richard said, my name is Shannon Hoffmeister. I'm the Director of Partnerships here at Docuphase. I'm joined by Keaton Oland, who is an Enterprise Account Executive. And truly, Keaton is an expert in helping organizations streamline their AP and payment processes.
There we go. And Keaton?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Shannon. Super happy to be here. Excited to go through the Docuphase solution, share with you where we fit in the market, how we're helping customers, and really help drive partnerships through Shannon's help. And really excited to be here. So thanks so much for the introduction.
And then I did forget to mention right at the very beginning, which I tend to do. If you've got any questions, if you're watching this live, feel free to ask them as a comment on the LinkedIn comment section, and then they'll pop up and I can get the team to address them as we go. So Shannon, after you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for questions. Happy to answer any questions offline as well after the LinkedIn Live. So who's Docuphase? At Docuphase, we really make it our mission to help empower finance teams to do more with modern automation solutions. So the biggest differentiator that you see at Docuphase is that we're truly committed to our customers' growth by continually evolving our solution to better meet the needs of every organization as they continue to grow in the current market. So we provide solutions such as AP automation, payment automation, really all the way through to AR, document management, and vendor management. And we'll dive deep into the product later. Keaton will be able to walk us through that. But looking at the logos at the bottom of the screen, this isn't really a way for us to brag on our customer base, even though we do love to brag on them. But really, more importantly, to show confidence that we can work in many different industries. And we've learned a lot over the years because regardless of accounting practices and similarities within the accounting practices, we know that every industry is different and every organization does things a little unique. So I'm sure you've learned that along with your client base, but it's something that we have really found and perfected within Docuphase itself. So by providing the flexibility and process and complete work, how each of those organizations need to do is really our mission and our commitment to our partners and, more importantly, to your clients. So again, before we dive into truly what we do and show you the product, let's talk about why you should partner with Docuphase. So right from the top, Docuphase, we're experts in the space. We've been in the industry for 25 plus years, and our very first integration that we got our footing on was within Great Plains. So as Microsoft has grown, so have we, and we have developed a seamless integration with all products within Microsoft Dynamics. Next up, we offer consultative selling. So we really win together. So through your relationships with your clients and our solution, we can meet the needs for your clients. Docuphase, we also offer co-branded marketing, and we really make it easy to share who we are and what we do with your clients with our branding and your branding on the documentation as well. And then lastly, but probably most importantly, is the revenue opportunity. Our partner program, it really provides a revenue shared based on the value of the contract. So we have shared clients, you're winning on that as well. So our goal here is to make it very easy for you to partner with us as your trusted partner for AP automation, document management, and payments. So now I'm going to pass it over to Keaton to kind of talk through our product a little bit more in depth, and then we'll dive into the demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. So what you're looking at here, as Shannon just went through kind of the history of Docuphase, right? And so here's a little bit of an illustration of what we're doing in the market. You can see supplier, buyer there across from each other. What we're doing here is we're really bridging the gap between suppliers and buyers. And so doing that is a number of different products, right? I talked to hundreds of AP teams today. Tech consolidation is really on the rise. So as you're looking at this, just think, there's not several different systems you're having to log into. Docuphase is designed as a one-stop shop for the back office of the CFO. So starting with the top, AP automation, right? That's really our bread and butter. That's what we've been doing for 24, 25 years now. We're using smart data capture as we follow the circle there. Smart data capture of capturing the invoices, extracting the data, really eliminating keying in invoices into ERPs, right? And then document management. That's also, it comes up in nearly every conversation I'm having. Is I talk to groups that are literally storing critical documents in a physical filing cabinet. And so when you look at document management, think digital filing cabinets and the ability to store those critical contracts, HR documents, bill of lading, packing slips, all of those things that your business is needing to record. You can have that all done digitally. And so we also have workflow that we can invoke for different approvals on contracts and HR documents, for example. And then next we have the supplier portal. That is critical. That is a big piece of our puzzle here. We're bringing your suppliers closer to the process. And what we've learned over the years is today, suppliers are just sending in invoices. Maybe it's accurate, maybe it's not. You're having to reach out to the supplier and say, you fat fingered the keyboard, this PO number doesn't match, or you've got to update this invoice. And what we're doing is we're providing this portal where your suppliers, we're enabling them to be able to be part of the process and fine tune it so that it's more streamlined from an invoicing perspective. So I'll get more into that as well. But and then we've got vendor management. Your vendors might be changing addresses. Maybe they're moving. Maybe they've got to update their information. Again, we're enabling them to be able to update their own information, more of a self-service type of methodology here. But also onboarding new suppliers. I talk to groups that are like, oh my gosh, we're onboarding hundreds of suppliers every month, and we're having to do W-9s and W-8s and OFAC checks and TIN checks. And so that's also part of the vendor management solution there. We're helping automate the very front end, even before the invoice has been issued, and getting them into your ERP. So value of AP automation. As I put myself in your shoes, we're on this webinar together. I started thinking, everybody really kind of knows the value of AP automation on a high level. But what I would say, my recommendation or my unsolicited advice, if you will, is as you're working with your clients and you're hearing conversations, if there's any conversations happening around lack of visibility with their invoices, they don't know where they're at in the life cycle, they're struggling with their reconciliations, they're struggling with their vendor management and onboarding new vendors and wanting to bring their vendors closer to the process. And then fraud controls. Lastly, that's huge. I talk to groups, duplicate invoices. You need to have the ability to flag those for additional review and make sure you're not paying invoices twice. It sounds funny, but it's happening all the time. And so just some key distinctions there and ideas as you're talking to your clients. So we're going to jump, not yet. I do want to cover one more slide before we get into, sorry, you're like, oh my gosh, get me out of this PowerPoint. This is the capture slide. So I want to start upstream. How are we getting invoices into your ERP? And so what you're looking at here is an illustration of our technology, OCR, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So OCR is not new technology. It's been around for decades, right? You're like, what? Cool. That's awesome. Everybody has it. We're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to train the OCR, and our solution actually gets smarter and more accurate as time goes on using artificial intelligence. So this illustration here is our ability to integrate and connect with your inbox. Hundreds of teams, again, I talk to, they're triaging an inbox, they're looking for PDF attachments, they're opening envelopes and scanning things in. We will take that burden off of your client's plate by automatically capturing and ingesting these invoices using OCR, AI, and machine learning. So monitoring that designated AP inbox, finding PDF attachments, automatically extracting all the critical data off those invoices. We're doing that automatically. And so I talked through this, and I only have one slide to show this because it really is happening auto-magically, right? There's not a lot I can share about the OCR, AI, and machine learning, but know that our field accuracy rates are 99.9%. So when you think of capturing invoices, you can take it to the bank that it's accurate when you've partnered with Docuphase through our technology. So Richard, I will now have you share my screen if you don't mind. I want to take us through get more of a see, touch, feel of our product, kick the tires a little bit, if I may. So what you're looking at here is I've logged into our software. It's worth mentioning. It's unlimited users. You know, we're not nickel and diming by licenses or seats and who's going to use it. For your clients, it's unlimited users. So what you're looking at here is, you know, in our scenario, we've captured the invoices, right? We've extracted all that critical data off of the invoices through OCR, AI, machine learning. Where do the invoices go from there? What you're looking at is our workflow. So I want to demonstrate just how configurable we can get with our workflow. So what you're looking at here is, we call these workflow gate rules, right? And so today, as I talk to groups, they're really stuck in a box with their current ERP. They have the ability to route invoices based off the total dollar amount, maybe by the vendor name, really limited options on how they can get invoices routed for approvals or even exception management for your PO-based invoices. This here is what we call workflow gate rules. This is going to be the bulk, the foundation, if you will, of your workflow and getting invoices going through the organization in the way that it should, right? So if I click on this one's pretty simple, right? Route PO invoices for approval over $500. You're like, wow, that's so cool, Keaton. Sounds like you're just like every other ERP out there. No, I'm showing you very high level, just a blanket option of getting invoices routed, right? So that's one easy example. Here's another: route all non-PO invoices on a global level if the invoice type is equal to non-PO. You can see, very simple. This is foundational blanket statement here for the majority of your scenarios, right? What I want to highlight now is what turns some heads with what Docuphase can offer in the market when it comes to workflow and the configurability of routing invoices within your organization. So when I click here on manage approval stops, this here is a list of, granted it's a demo environment, right? We have lots of different lots of different options to display here. But what I want to do is we've created this one called lots of conditions for sake of demonstration. So over here to the right, in the event that these conditions here at the bottom, you can see there's a bit of a laundry list of them. In the event that these conditions are met, invoices are going to route to, in this case, demo user Greg Brady. So if the vendor name contains demo, if the amount paid is greater than $5,000, if the buyer ID is equal to Greg, if the invoice type is equal to non-PO, if it rains on a Wednesday, right? You get the idea. It's a series of if-then statements, and we can if-then to next Tuesday with our solution. So anything that's on an invoice, I'm going to click here on this. And sometimes, bear with me, when I'm doing webinars and things, you may not be able to see this drop down that I just clicked on. But what I'm showing is there's a list of, just a laundry list of different fields on an invoice. So the key point here is, if it's on the invoice, we can route off of it. So we're really just blowing out the doors, giving lots of options to say, I want to be able to route off the net due amount on my invoices. I want to be able to route off the invoice date, the business address, the ship to address, all these different options that your clients may have dreamt of. They have that ability with Docuphase with over 500 configuration settings. Our workflow, obviously I'm biased, but it's second to none, and you'd be blown away in a more in-depth demonstration there. So I wanted to show just high level what the workflow is. That is a key differentiator for us. Next, I'll highlight once invoices have been routed, right? Where are they going? What does a day in the life look like for an end user with Docuphase? I click here on my work list. You can see I'm logged in as a demo user here. Everybody has their own username and login. They can log in, they can drag and drop and move things around so that they feel comfortable. But these invoices are invoices that need some sort of action in order to be fully processed. So call it your non-POs. Maybe these invoices need to be coded, right? Your PO-based invoices, maybe there's a match exception, a 2 or 3-way match exception. This is where they would land in order to be worked. And so we follow a metric very closely called straight through processing. You may have heard of it in the market, or touchless invoicing rates. To give you an idea of what Docuphase is doing, across all of our customer base today, we are delivering over 85% straight through processing rates, meaning imagine a world for your clients where 85% of their invoice volume is going from capture to vendor paid with no manual intervention. That's the name of the game when it comes to automation. And that's the metric that's increasing bandwidth for your team, or your client's team rather, to focus on more value-added tasks. We want AP teams to focus on audit compliance and supplier relationships and capturing early pay discounts. We want to move them away from the world of keying in and validating data. So I'll give you an example, day in the life, right? I'm going to click here on this non-PO invoice, show you what it looks like to step in here and live and breathe the solution. Call it a Monday morning, right? I clicked on this invoice. I've got a nice image of the invoice to the right here. Bear with me, I'm on my laptop. Hopefully this isn't too compressed for y'all, but down here I can see the distributions, right? This is where the coding is happening. And you'll notice that this is already pre-populated. That's because we are, again, using artificial intelligence to be able to identify patterns when these AP teams are coding their invoices. And it will get to a certain confidence level, call it 90%, 95% confidence level, which your clients can dictate that confidence level. But once it hits that, artificial intelligence is going to step in and auto code these invoices for your clients. So I love talking about that, because so many teams out there are just seeing the same invoice month after month. It's always the same GL code. They're just copy and pasting. So your utilities, your rents, and things like that, we can just invoke auto code, and it will start to auto code invoices on your client's behalf there. So obviously, non-PO invoice, that's a lot of what you'd be doing in Docuphase is just that coding. We've captured the invoice. We've routed it to the appropriate folks for it to be approved. Now, most common best practice is the AP team is coding the invoice for the final stop, right? So that's what it looks like non-PO. I will highlight a couple other things that's worth mentioning here. The history tab. Lots of groups are concerned about audit compliance and making sure that their controls are being followed. This here is every fingerprint that's on an invoice that ever touched this invoice is timestamped. You'll be able to tell who did what and when and why, and you can export and print this. Approval stops. I'm looking at the life cycle of this particular invoice. I'm able to see what desks it's hit and where it's headed. And then lastly, this issues tab. I can create new issues. I don't know. This audience may not be too in the weeds of the day-to-day AP operations, but I can tell you, when I talk to AP teams, they are struggling with the communication internally with invoices. They're inside Outlook and their inboxes. They're emailing back and forth. They're making phone calls. They have questions about an invoice. This here is a big differentiator for Docuphase, because you can reach out to, I can create a new issue. I can reach out to even the vendor or anybody internally at my organization. This here is a folks that are attached to this workflow. If I needed to get another set of eyes, I could easily add a user. I could add a CFO just for visibility if I needed to, right? I just need to get another set of eyes on this invoice. I can do the subject. It's missing data. Maybe it's the wrong price. Type the message. When I do that, and an email gets sent to somebody internally at whoever you send it to, they click on the link and it takes them directly to this page where they can respond to your inquiry. So we're keeping that communication all in one pane of glass, getting you out of Outlook and back and forth emails and phone calls, and keeping it all in one pane of glass. So really helpful to help strengthen the communication internally and externally as well. Next, what I'll highlight here is our ability to do PO-based invoices. If you have questions about that, I'm gonna highlight some things that we're doing on a PO basis. So I'm going to click on, for sake of demonstration, we've got this one here that's in match exception, this Ferguson Waterworks. What this is going to show you is through our integration, we're able to get vendor master file. We're able to get the GL, chart of accounts file. We're able to get the PO file. So we know what POs have been issued. And so we're able to do 2- and 3-way matching for your clients. So what the system's telling me here, it's highlighting a couple fields. It's telling me that this invoice is pending receipt. So not all goods have been received against this PO line. So 3-way match exception right off the bat, right? That happens every day for accounts payable teams. The other one here is a 2-way match exception. It's telling me the line total must be less than or equal to the line total remaining on the PO, right? So that's nothing new. That happens all the time. The difference with Docuphase is, what are we doing with this information, and how can we relieve the burden of managing and resolving these exceptions when they occur? Well, we use our workflow that I showed at the beginning there, and we're able to use data that's on the invoice, let's say the requester email, for example, or the buyer ID, we're able to know who ordered these goods or services. And so if and when there is an exception that occurs, we can automatically route to the appropriate folks to resolve that exception, rather than having it hit AP's desk and they're like, what is this? I've never seen it. I've got to do research. I have to find out who created the PO, who issued the PO, who ordered the goods, right? It takes forever to do that. And that's what slows the process up. We're automatically routing the resolution of exceptions with our workflow here. So just wanted to highlight PO-based invoices is something we do every day, non-PO and PO. So next, as our journey continues, I want to highlight another big piece of Docuphase's puzzle is payments. I'm going to click here at the top. You see payments. You'll notice I'm not logging into another system. This is all one-stop shop here. And couple clicks of a mouse, I can see all these payments that are ready to pay, right? I can see the vendor name, nice and easy. I can drill down and say, okay, what invoices are associated with this lump sum payment of $1,800 over here, right? I can see, okay, it's a culmination of all these different invoices. Well, you can cherry pick. Maybe I want to pay this invoice. Maybe I want to pay this one and respect my cash flow, right? And just pay the ones that are needing to be paid immediately. I can do that. And then I can schedule the payment right here at the bottom. So nice and easy, lots of visibility. If you're just wanting to pay them all, right, you can select all, boom, schedule this payment for your pay run, schedule payment. Local payment, we're talking vendors that are cutting the grass and cleaning the windows, and they're at the front desk and they're wanting to get a check today. We can do that with local payment. So here in the middle, I'll click on in process. Lots of visibility here on payments that are in process, right? I can issue a stop payment over here to the right if I need to. I can see the payments that are check. I can see payments that are issued in ACH. I can see wires. I can see virtual credit cards. If you're not familiar, you likely are, but this is a program that we offer. We actually have a vendor payments team that works with your clients. They'll move your clients' suppliers to ACH or to a virtual credit card on their behalf. And so when I talk to groups, a lot of times they just don't have the bandwidth to do that. So our vendor payments team will do that on their behalf. And the virtual credit card is great because they will get a percentage back of the total amount of transactions that are processed through virtual credit card. So a lot of times I'm working with my customers, we're able to offset the cost of AP automation through that rebate that we can capture through the virtual credit card rebate. So lastly, paid, right? I click on this tab. I can see all the checks that have been cut and envelopes stuffed and mailed. I can see all the ACHs, the virtual credit cards, everything that's been paid. So lots of information at my disposal. Lastly, I know I'm keeping my eye on the clock. I know we're wrapping up here soon, but I do want to highlight the last, call it the bread and butter, if you will. This is the visibility that we're bringing our customers when it comes to the invoicing process. And so what you're looking at here is what we call, it's a dashboard with widgets. And so we can add as many widgets as we want, but this here is giving me my top 5 exceptions. It's telling me what's slowing down invoices throughout the process. It's giving me some really good visibility on maybe some things we need to change, right? Docuphase, I will say your clients will have a dedicated customer success team throughout the life of the partnership. And part of their job is what they look at things like this top 5 exceptions, and they're looking to see what are the bottlenecks of the solution, as well as what are the bottlenecks of the personnel. So helping, maybe we need to make some tweaks on the workflow to make sure invoices are flowing faster. So that's just an example, but we'll have that customer success team with them by their side. Straight through processing, I touted 85% across all of our customer base today is what you can expect. And my demo environment is telling you 68.65. So we need to get that updated in our demo environment, which we will. But in any case, you'll be able to see your straight through processing percentage in real time, as well as your net due. You've got invoices, that are due in the next 3 to 10 days. Maybe I have past due invoices. You can drill down and get visibility and to see what approvers are associated with those invoices. Is this an opportunity to have a conversation with the team and say, why are invoices not getting approved in a timely manner? So lots of visibility, lots of reporting. I of course, there's so much that I can go into, right? I know our time is short here today, but please, lots of visibility. Please reach out to Docuphase if you're interested in having more of a discussion with me around what our functionality is and what our product can do. It's a lot to cram in, but bear with me. I appreciate everybody joining me going through that today. Shannon, I think that's about it for now.
No, that was great,
Back
Keaton.
over to you.
For sure. So, I mean, Keaton, you really hit the nail on the head and highlighted a lot of the key differentiators about our product and what sets us apart, because we're not the only end-to-end solution in the space. We know that there are many other AP vendors that are living within the Microsoft community that do things very similar to Docuphase, but we like to tote that we are a little bit different. And so a couple things to highlight through the partnership. I mean, we're truly working at your client's pace. The goal here is with the partnership, with your relationships and our expertise, we're able to find a solution that meets their needs, whether that be they want to start small and kind of expand into the full solution, or if they want to roll out the whole solution end to end. So we're truly giving them an enhanced experience. And Keaton mentioned it when talking about the dedicated customer success team. Not only through the partnership do you have a dedicated team dedicated to the partnership, but your end client will also have that as well. So now I'm going to open it up to any questions. And I know, Keaton, you really hit the nail on the head with a lot of questions that we get in these environments and during these webinars. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, like, truly, what makes Docuphase different than what Keaton had showed within our workflow and our payments piece and within the solution itself. And you know, Docuphase, we've been in the industry for 25 plus years, and we have perfected our process and solution based on what we've learned. We know that each company is different. Accounting practices are similar, but there's some nuances there, and we can really adjust to that. Other things that really set us apart is going to be that front end piece, that ingestion piece that Keaton was mentioning, how we're capturing that data in, how we're able to have such a high pass through rate to ensure we have accuracy on the front end.
Cool.
Are there any?
Yeah, so thank you both for walking us through that. I guess from a partner perspective, then, if they're looking to work with you, how long do you think an implementation would take?
Great question.
Yeah, that's a good question. In fact, I was going to bring that up too, because you're probably thinking that, right? And so standard implementation timeframe is generally 12 to 15 weeks. We can go faster, but that's really kind of the typical time frame. So we strive to get our clients live and using our product inside 90 days. We have a lot of testing that happens within that 90 days. And so UAT testing environment, we're testing before we go live. But so we provide the UAT testing environment, and we'll test everything before it goes live to production. But 90 days or less is what we're looking at. That
doesn't seem too bad.
No, not at all. We strive to keep it an easy lift too. We've got lots of integrations out there, APIs that we can use and leverage. So it's a great product and great smooth implementation process.
And then, obviously, you demonstrated the portal functionality, the sort of the dashboard stuff. What other kind of reporting functionality do you have?
Yeah, so lots of reporting. Shannon mentioned we've been doing this for 25 years, so there's really not anything we haven't seen. I will say in my demo when I'm showing the list of reports, if there's anything that you don't see that you need, that's where our customer success team steps in, and they will actually build reports for our clients.
Oh, okay, cool.
For the partners' clients as needed. They can even email it to them on every Monday morning, for example, if it's something specific that they're needing. But in most cases, I'd say 95% of our customers have not needed to take that step of having our customer success team build additional reporting. But we do have that there for a reason, right? We know that we'll run into something new, that somebody wants. Customer success can build reports if needed.
Very cool. All right, then. So I think we're coming up to time, unless Shannon or Keaton, there's anything else you wanted to add?
No, that was everything. Just throwing up, how you can find us on, whether that be LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, along with my contact information. So if there is additional questions, concerns,
depending on people's monitor size is a bit small.
For sure.
So email Shannon, and she'll hook you up. But really appreciate everybody's time today. Both from the Docuphase side, but also those of you that are watching live. Thank you very much. I hope you found this really interesting, and I definitely encourage you all to reach out to Shannon to see if you can get them involved in some of your customers and prospects. So with that, I just want to thank everybody again, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.